Fans, I'm not even going to attempt to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you a white lie. I'm not going to tell you a partial lie. The truth is, this was likely the worst season y'all will have in the last 5 years.
Get out the field! It's not a house game! It's not a house game! Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Homie, now listen, everyone play their position. Buffalo got a tradition. They say we tripping, they better get out our way. Top of the table, we flipping, we on a mission. Got an unstoppable team, continue to follow your dream by any means. Buffalo, get in the Super Bowl ring. Cause we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Mafia up in your city, time to get gritty. Screaming and yelling, we bugging. Look at the red and blue.
This is an MVP year for Josh Allen. As an MVP voter, I said this last week. Josh Allen, he looks like an MVP. When you vote for MVP, and I can speak for myself, I think I'm one of 50 voters, you look at a couple things. Who's the best team in football? Who's the best player on that team in football? What do they look like as the best player on that team in football? And how much talent is around that best player on that best team in football?
And a good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Coast to Coast podcast. Happy New Year, everyone. First podcast of 2025. I am your co-host here, Beyond 716, back from vacation for episode 71. And of course, we are joined by the one, the only Whittle 2K. And thanks for joining us. And also look out for us at Do Champions. Give us a follow and a like on Twitter and also on YouTube and other platforms. We really appreciate your support. We're looking forward to an awesome 2025 ahead as we start to get ready for the NFL playoff season. It is finally here, folks. Before we begin, I want to just give my thought. I live, as long as you know, I live in the Los Angeles area. Just want to give my thoughts and my prayers and my love to some of my fellow fans around here and people I know in Los Angeles. Thank you for reaching out to me about all the fires here. I mean, it's in Palisades, and we got one here in Long Beach, but they took care of it. It's been an absolute disaster. I mean, what you guys see on TV is legitimate. It's really awful what's going on, and just one popped up in Hollywood Hills, so it's still going on. So just want to say thank you to everyone and continued thoughts and prayers for everyone here in the Los Angeles area. Whittle, how are you?
You good, man. The prayers, like you said, man, I echo the same sentiment. Prayers up to all the people in California that are currently being affected by the wildfires, and prayers out to their family as well. To all of the families that are being affected by it. This is tough. It's something that we can't control.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I would hope that this would not be a political thing, but it certainly looks to be shaping up that way right now. So
doesn't everything, right? Yeah. And Whittle, you know how it is. I mean, I don't live right in LA, but I'm right outside of it. Being from New York, like, when something happens in New York, it's kind of part of you, right? So seeing all this and seeing how destructive it's been in some beautiful spots of LA, it's really hit home for us. And I mean, we got a couple people we know that had to evac and things like that. But, just it's a reinforcement for all the, hey, we love football here, but we can't, there's a human side to everything. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to you as well for that as well. So, but we can now pivot to something that a lot of people out there, Whittle, as we heard all off season. Hey, we got a little large. There we go.
What are we doing?
So thank you for that, Jolene. There we go. So I appreciate that. And we got the chat is already alive and well. Thank you, Jeremy. And we got to go Bills, and we're getting ready. Whittle, weren't we told this time of year we were going to be sitting on the couch, maybe in Cancun, not here for the playoffs, but yet again, here are the 13-win Buffalo Bills preparing for a showdown against the Denver Broncos in the 2-7 matchup in the AFC playoffs. So,
Yeah, I
and
mean, bro, like we go through this all the time, man. Um, it, it's it's kind of crazy that it doesn't matter what this team does, they're always going to get pushed back. They're always going to get looked at as not being good enough or whatever. It's
mhm,
just I don't know. But anyway, week 18 Patriots game. Who really cared, right? I mean, it was a game that it didn't matter. It really didn't matter to us. We couldn't move up past the second spot in the playoffs. So we've assured ourselves of at least two home playoff games, provided we advance that far. It all starts Sunday with the game against the Denver Broncos. But yeah, man, just a couple of thoughts from the game. Um,
yep.
I thought the rookies, I mean, not the rookies, I thought the backups looked absolutely amazing. I thought they really looked good, especially our offensive line. I thought the offensive line looked amazing. Um, SVPG, he got some good snaps.
Hmm.
Obviously, Alec Anderson, Tylen Grable, all of those guys, Brian Vandermark, like we know that they can play, but to see them go out there and actually do it was really nice to see. Uh, you know, you know that if something happens, if somebody gets beat up, something happens, we lose a guy on the line, we're gonna be fine. We
Hmm.
can plug and play somebody else. A couple of quick notes because it's been a topic of conversation about the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills finally have one of the best offensive lines in football, um, especially from a pass protection standpoint. Uh, Ranked number 4 in pass block win rate. Um, Josh Allen is the second least pressured quarterback in the NFL. We've given up the least amount of sacks in the NFL, and we've also run the ball very efficiently this year. So all of these things point to um, a very good rushing game. So
Hmm.
I know what a lot of people are
Absolutely.
going to tell you is that the Buffalo Bills aren't. That offensive line is not that good. It's overrated. We a lot of people downgrade or try to downplay uh, parts of our team for whatever reason. Simple research will show you that this is a really good team. Despite the losses, the Bills are currently 2, 4, 5, 6, tied for seventh in yards per rush.
Hmm.
And I mean, if you take, and I'm sure, like, if you take out the 1 yard tush push plays for, the 1 yard, we call it the snow plows for like first
Hmm.
downs or, at the goal line with Josh Allen. I mean, if you take those out, I'm sure that the yards per attempt go up tremendously. But at any rate, that's where we are. You don't run for what the Bills ran for this year from a yard standpoint. I mean, you don't do that without without being one of the best rushing teams in the league. We're
Hmm.
averaging 130 plus yards on the ground per game. You obviously what Josh Allen and the air attack does. So
Hmm.
kudos to the Buffalo Bills and that offensive line. Those guys out there working and they look good, man. I mean, I think
Yep.
we have a really good pair of tackles, Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, no, 2 years ago, I wanted Spencer Brown off the team. Like I wanted him out of here. I thought he
Yeah.
was going to get
Hmm.
Josh Allen killed. He was terrible years
Yep.
ago, but
Yep.
here we are, man. He's looking like a top 5 right tackle in the NFL. I mean, if he's not top 5, he's definitely top 10. He's been very
Hmm.
good. He plays with a mean streak. 6'6", excuse me, 6'7".
Yeah.
No, Spencer Brown's 6'8",
Is
isn't
he?
he?
Wait, is he almost? I think he's almost 6'8".
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 6'8".
Spencer Brown.
6'8", 340, I think.
Wow. Yeah, just a monster, a huge beast. Yeah,
Yeah.
6'8". Correct. Hmm.
Yeah, 6'8", 340. You know, and a perfect 10 RAS score. Like, so, and RAS is, for those who don't know, RAS is a relative. It's relative athletic score. It's
Hmm.
how they grade the combine. They take all of the events. They give you grades in each event, and then they combine them, and they give you a RAS score. So,
Hmm.
and it's based on, they have like different tiers or whatever that tells you how many points you get or whatever. But
Yep.
he has a perfect 10 RAS, so he's an elite level athlete. And now you take that size, that strength, the elite athleticism that he comes with, and now his technique is very good as well. So now it's he's an absolute monster. So I just wanted to give a little bit of love to them.
Yep.
And now we go over to the Pro Bowl.
Little one more guy I want to give love to on our offensive line, and I'm really glad you
Okay.
led with that because our guy Osiris Torrance, doesn't get a lot of love. 500, I believe the stat is 546
542.
pass
46. Yeah,
snaps
46.
in 2 years. He's given up 0 sacks. Let's give
Yep.
Osiris Torrance his love. I mean, and I'm glad you led with that, Whittle, and we're gonna get into the Pro Bowl, but I think narratives take a while to die, right? Our offensive line a couple of years ago wasn't the best. We know that, lacked some physicality, things like that. But this is not your Bills of 2 years ago on the offensive line. We're so much more balanced now than we ever have been. So, and it plays into how we're such more of a complete team. This is the most complete roster Josh Allen has had since he's been a Buffalo Bill. It doesn't mean we're not missing some star players like Stephon Diggs, but this is the most complete roster we've had since he's been quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if this is the most complete.
I felt
Yeah,
like we had
okay.
some more holes.
No,
Like
when you
you
say most
maybe,
complete,
yeah,
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
we may have had a couple more high
I
end
always go to
guys.
20.
Yeah,
Yeah, I always go to 2021, but when I
yeah,
look at the 2021 team, I think the wide receiver room was much
it was
better than what we
unbelievable.
have right now.
Yeah,
That wide receiver
agreed.
room was immaculate. But
Yeah,
if you look everywhere else, bro, we're better at running back, better at or better at O line. The D line is better. The
yep,
linebackers are better. Like I think Terrell Bernard is an upgrade over Tremaine Edmonds.
yep,
Um, I would say the secondary. I would say that secondary was better. I know it was Levi
yeah.
Wallace and Tremaine and Trey White when he was healthy, and that
Hmm.
was elite Trey White back then. Like that was, take away a side of the field, Trey White.
Hmm.
And we had him and Levi Wallace, but the safeties were just amazing.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. The safeties
Jordan
were
Poyer,
certainly.
Micah Hyde, just yeah, it was
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. But I just think when you look at everything together, right, it's just a lack of holes that especially on the offense, especially on the lines. I think we're just a better overall team and the synergy, just the way everything's good with the coaching on the coordinator side as well. It's just everything is just the whole is greater than the sum of its parts was really our theme from day one, and it's still ringing true today.
absolutely. Um, well, okay, Pro Bowl vote. The 13-4 Buffalo Bills have elected two have been awarded two Pro Bowl players. Um, before I get into like congratulations, Josh Allen and Deion Dawkins for another Pro
Mhm.
Bowl selection, but I feel like we're missing a few guys. I mean, and you know, feel free, like if you want to chime in on this first.
Sure. So yeah, I mean the fact that we only had two Pro Bowlers for a 13-win squad. I mean, in some way, Whittle, I'm gonna take this just as my first reaction to that. In some odd way, I'm kind of happy about it. If that gives us any more fuel than we already have going into the playoffs for this, some of these guys have a little chip on their shoulder. I'm all about it. At this point, I mean, we know the Bills have more than two Pro Bowl players on this roster. Even if they disagree, and we should probably have maybe five or maybe even six. That's perfectly fine. As far as I'm concerned, if that enables this group to say, "Hey, look at the way they're disrespect, not giving us the love and attention that we deserve for the kind of year we had. We put the most points in our team's history. We won 13 games for the third time this decade, right? I mean, we're doing some amazing things, and the fact that they're not giving us good, let's go out there and show them that we are deserving of these awards. So I would imagine that room will take that and turn it into a positive.
Well, it's definitely bulletin board material for sure. Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
imagine that the guys will look at that and think to themselves, well, you know, I'm good with that. Like I didn't really want to make the Pro Bowl. No, like you saw James Cook make a tweet that said even when you put your best out, it's not respected. So
Yep. Yep.
and you know, he just said you gotta keep grinding. They asked him about it, and he, you know, he had some colorful language to describe how he
Yeah.
felt. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's fair. I mean, yeah, he didn't have. He wasn't one of the league leaders in rushing yards. I think he was barely got over 1,000. But I mean, what he did from a touchdown, you know, from the touchdown production, he was tied for the NFL lead in rushing touchdowns. What he did in the pass catching game as a running back, I mean, you know, just the all purpose yards, like I think he had more all-purpose yards than Joe Mixon. Even though Joe Mixon went crazy like the first half of the season, Joe Mixon really did his thing. But consistently over the year, over the season, I thought that James Cook was deserving of another Pro Bowl vote. Um, I mean, a few of those guys were named as alternates, but whatever. I don't think it's fair to just name these guys alternates, but you know, it is what it is. They'll use it as bulletin board material, and you know, they'll go out there and they'll prove the doubters wrong again. Another 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 snub from the Pro Bowl, bro. How does Christian Benford get passed over? That like seriously. I mean, Damar Hamlin was closer to making a Pro Bowl than Christian Benford, which is nuts. Like I know, you know, Hamlin. I know Damar's got a bigger name, and not that I'm saying that Damar hasn't played well. I think Damar has played really really well. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's earned the right to be a starter at safety. I'm glad that
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's getting the start. You know, this upcoming weekend for the wild card game against the Broncos. He deserves it. He's played well all year. Uh, he doesn't make a ton of mistakes. He's, you know, maybe he took a bad angle against Lamar Jackson once, but I mean, as long as Derrick Henry's been in the league and how many rushing yards he's had, who hasn't taken a bad angle on Derrick Henry? At least he didn't get stiff armed to have both his feet in the air, like
Yeah.
Josh Norman did a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a positive. But Demar definitely has earned all of the love that he's getting. But Christian Benford is one of the best cover. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. The man is locked down. He's locked down. He gets interceptions. I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's
I was
ugly.
thinking maybe it was merit, because Sertain made it and Denzel Ward, but then Derek Stingley made it over Benford. Do you think, and this may be just a weird take, one guy was a top three pick and another one was a sixth rounder? Does it come down to things like that Benford just has to do that much more than somebody? that is a top 3 pick in the NFL would have to do in that scenario? I don't.
Um,
Maybe name recognition has something to do with it.
it's name
Maybe.
recognition for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, listen. Well, we'll get into why. Because the Pro Bowl, like people think the Pro Bowl is just the fans. Like, oh, it's just the fans. Who cares? The fans are voting. No, the fans have 1/3 of the vote. Players have a third, and the coaches have a third. So I know the coaches are watching film. I know they see how Christian Benford is not giving up a ton of separation. He's got a bunch of pass defended. He doesn't get thrown at a lot, and he's got a few. He's got more than a few takeaways. Forced fumbles. He's punching the football out. Excellent tackler. He can. He's taking the football away with interceptions as well. I mean, you would think a team that is sporting the best turnover margin in the NFL would have more defensive starters or more defensive players make the Pro Bowl. We have zero. I think that's wild, but it is what
Yeah.
it is.
Hmm. Absolutely.
But so next up, we'll talk a little bit about the fan vote. I mean, not the fan vote, the players all pro team that was released. Um, Yeah, it was nonsense. I mean, there's really no other way to describe it. It was utter nonsense. Not a single Buffalo Bill made the list. I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah, in our group chat, let us know if you think of any names you want to put as snubs, or if you agree with us, or feel free to put them in.
Bro, they're all snubs, man.
Yeah.
This was ridiculous. It really was. It really was ridiculous.
Hmm.
It was ridiculous to see. Trying to find. I'm trying to just pull it up and not have to deal with like a big article. Right? If I could find it on X, I would, but I just don't feel like looking for it. Where are we? Oh, this is no, I don't want this. Oh, okay. Here we go. This is it. We'll pull it up. It's on X.
Hmm.
Let me share this.
Okay.
Because some of y'all might have not seen this, so let's just pull it up. Start. All right. So, wait, is that the beginning? No, it's the players all pro. Oh, well, it was the beginning. All right. Offensive line, no bill, multiple chiefs, quarterback. He's having a great year. Lamar Jackson. He is. I can't argue with any of these so far. Can't argue. Can't argue with Kyle Juszczyk. Brock Bowers, great year for a rookie, definitely. Can't argue with that. Great. Okay. Can't argue with that. Can't really argue with that either. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with this list. Nothing wrong with it at all. I do kind of find it weird though that nobody like I'm a little upset with I mean upset's probably too strong of a word. Um if we're just going off the statistics and numbers, I see where Joe Burrow could end up being the quarterback for that All Pro team, but
Hmm.
the players love Lamar Jackson, man. They don't love Josh Allen. He's the
Yep.
he was voted the most overrated player for a reason. So
Yep.
whatever. That's that on that. Your thoughts on the players All Pro 2014?
Yeah, I didn't have too many issues there, really, with some of those choices, that you showed in that video. I mean, again, you can argue a couple of different guys, but listen, that Josh Allen slander is going to be there, Whittle, until and we've talked about it, right? He hasn't won an MVP yet. Lamar's won two, right? Burrow's made a Super Bowl. Josh hasn't. Obviously, Mahomes is this three. So there's just something that he's missing, right? He doesn't have anything in that case yet. If he wins MVP and he makes the Super Bowl, the narratives are going to start changing. There's just no question
Right.
about it. It's something that just has to be earned. Josh Allen's had to earn this his whole life. I mean, he, just from the whole coming out of high school, didn't get any chances in college, and from a lot of big schools. And now, granted, he was a high draft pick and all that, but he had to come a long way to do that. It wasn't all handed to him. He wasn't an anointed one right from the beginning, like some guys are, out of high school or whatever. And I think Josh understands that. And I think this is the golden opportunity right now. It's all in front of us, right?
Right.
And listen, we talked about this all season, just to kind of pivot a little bit back to this. We either wanted the one or we wanted a quote bye week going into the playoffs. We got it, right? We got B. We wanted A, but we got B. But again, if I told you for the season we were going to win 13 games, beat Kansas City, I thought we're the one. So some of it was out of our control, right? I mean, we had a great year, right? I figured 99 times out of 100, I would have said we're the one. We're 13 games and we beat KC. We're the one. But to KC's whatever luck, credit, whatever you want to say, some of the games they should have lost, they're the one. So, but we got our wish. It's all here for Josh. We're relatively healthy. So if he knocks it down, you watch how fast everything changes this time in 2 months. If he's raising that Lombardi, I promise you, come next year when the voting comes around, it's gonna be a lot different.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I don't know if they're. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if the votes. I don't know if it changes. I think it's just going to be what it is. They they hate us because they ain't us, brother. I mean, that's all
Yep,
I can say about that. Um,
absolutely.
so playoffs.
Here we
We're
are.
in, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, any surprises with the playoff schedule
Oh, in terms of like when
for the
teams are
bracket?
playing and stuff like that,
No,
or
no. With like who made it?
well, it's funny. I thought Washington could actually sneak in this year. I didn't have them having 12 wins. I didn't have them making it so easily. I thought maybe they'd sneak in with 9, right? That was a surprise. I mean, Cincinnati being out's a big surprise. I think we can all agree there. And just little little d- little announcement for the Bengals fans. Don't make your what should we call it, the petitions to make the playoffs. Don't lose to New England week 1 at home 13-7 and then get back to me, right? You want to make the playoffs, don't lose at home to New England week 1. It's just that simple. But
So
I mean, it's just, if they win that game during the playoffs, and then we're probably playing them and we're having a different conversation. Minnesota surprised me. I mean, Whittle, I think you got to really look at the Vikings. I mean, what a great year. What a great year by their coaching staff. I mean, with Connell and Flores, what a great job he did with that defense, and Sam Darnold. To win 14 games with that roster was unbelievable to me. To see that, so those are kind of my surprises too. Maybe the 49ers being out of the playoffs is a little bit of a surprise. Hey, I like the brackets, so I mean, I'm not surprised at all where we are. I'm definitely not surprised by the Chiefs. Not surprised by the Lions. Really not surprised by the Buccaneers or the Rams for that matter. I had them winning the West, but the 49ers in as a wild card. But what about you, Weddle? Is there any surprises you see right now that you look at the bracket?
the Rams surprised me. Denver surprised. I didn't think Denver was going to be good. I I knew Denver had a decent defense, but I did not think Denver was going to be like a team that made the playoffs. I'm actually surprised that the Broncos. I'm not the Broncos. I'm sorry. I'm surprised the Bengals didn't make it. You know, the
Yeah.
Bengals started off at the beginning of the year as my pick to win the AFC North. Um, hey, I was wrong. Uh, I thought them having, a healthy, coming back healthy, having guys, investing in that defensive line, having some guys come back and fill in, Von Bell coming back to play safety for them, bringing in Geno Stone as the free safety. He led the Ravens last year with interceptions. Um, obviously returning their linebackers, having DJ Turner, Dax Hill, Mike Hill, all of these guys, Trey Anderson, all these guys back. McKinley Jackson, they drafted last year. Chris Jenkins Jr., they drafted him as well. So all of these guys, I thought, coupled with the fact that the Bengals played a fourth place schedule. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, like, they're playing a fourth place schedule. They have they're gonna be playing the Patriots and like the Panthers and just a bunch of teams that stink. Like they're not good teams, right? And they were on the outside looking in, like they just did not make it. And it's crazy because the narrative coming up, over the last couple of weeks was don't let us get in, don't let us get in, don't let us get in. And what's actually pretty funny is the rest of the league had nothing to do with you guys not getting in. You
Yeah.
guys were the reason why you didn't get in. You
Thank you.
didn't win enough games against bad teams.
Yep.
Um,
Hmm.
obviously they had the tough loss against the Chiefs, two tough losses against the the Ravens. I mean, but their defense is like for whatever. I mean, they have had a string of injuries, but good God, like you still got to get stops. Like you guys are still putting NFL players out there. It's pretty bad. Led to the overhaul. Like they really overhauled their team. Like Lou Anarumo got fired. A bunch of their coaches got fired. Defensive line coach was out of there. Bunch of guys on that. A bunch of coaches there got fired. So you know, it is what it is.
Hmm.
Um, but since we got the bracket up, we'll go. We can go through if you want.
Sure.
Let's
Yeah, it's the fun
take a
time of
look at
year.
some of
What
these
else? Yeah.
games. Yeah, yeah, man. Um, Chargers, Texans. Who do you think? Let's see where you're leaning.
You know, I'm going Houston, and I'm not confident at all. I'm like a 51-49 in this game. I'm just going to go with their defensive line. Maybe just a little more experience in the playoffs. I mean, not much. I mean, Harbaugh, I know, is a good coach, but I'm just going to lean home team here. But it's a coin flip, to be perfectly honest with you. But
Yeah,
I'll lean the Texans.
the Chargers are a sexy pick. A lot of people are picking the Chargers. I'm gonna agree with you there. Um, I think they'll run the football. I think they'll be able to run the football with Joe Mixon. If you look at the Chargers against the Broncos, who don't really have a great run game, that Thursday night game a couple weeks ago, they got ran on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they got
Yep.
ran on. The Chargers got
Agree.
ran. I mean, the Ravens run on everybody, but like they ran on them. They ran on the Chargers. So the Chargers can be run on. I hate Houston's offensive line, but um, I think the strength of that Houston team is going to be throwing the football. And now that I think about it, bro, like it's just Nico and Mixon really. Like, I mean, they
Hmm.
got Xavier Hutchinson, they got Bobby Trees, aka Robert Woods, or Robert Woods, aka Bobby Trees. They have those guys. They got John Mechie and the tight end I think is Dalton Schultz, I believe.
Dalton
He's their
Schultz. Yep.
tight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, man. The Chargers defense is really good. It is
They
really
are.
good. Houston,
Yeah.
Houston soft in the middle, and the Chargers are gonna run the football. They're gonna put two tight ends on the field. They're gonna run. They're gonna beat them up physically up front. I'm switching up, bro. I'm taking the Chargers. Like the
Okay,
Chargers
all
just
right. We
make
have
too
our
much
first
sense.
flip, and I may have one
Yeah.
too. So, but I'm sticking with Houston. I'm going to stick with Texans.
All right. Next
So
game, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Where you at?
listen. As much as I would love to see Pittsburgh win for obvious reasons, I don't see any scenario where they generate enough offense in this game to win. I got Baltimore winning by like 13 points or more. I don't really
Mm.
see the Steelers. I know this is the division matchup, but the Steelers have just been fate. And I know it's the playoffs, but I just think with Derrick Henry, Lamar, they're gonna. It may be one of those games where it's a one possession game and maybe they tack one on late. But I don't have any confidence in the Steelers offense to probably get the 24 more points they need to even have a chance to win this game.
Okay. We'll get into the other game.
Okay.
I got the. We see the Chiefs are playing nobody. I hope the Chiefs lose that. I hope the Chiefs lose this weekend. Somehow, some way. I hope they
Yeah,
lose.
somehow. Yep.
Uh, Min- Minnesota, Tampa Bay. That's not accurate either. Wait,
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
no, this is not. This is wrong. Did
Oh,
anybody?
you're right. Oh, you're right. It's
Yo, nobody put me down on this. Wow, y'all left me out here in the cold, man.
Whittle.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
okay.
Okay,
It's all
so we
right,
gotta
Whittle.
flip this. So the
Washington and
fourth
Tampa.
seed is actually LA,
LA.
and
Yes.
the third seed is Tampa Bay. So that would be
Wow, Whittle.
Minnesota versus LA. Yeah, crazy, right?
Okay.
I should have
Yeah,
caught that.
it's all
I should have
good, man.
caught that
I didn't
before I
even
put it
catch
out
it
there.
either, Whittle. You know what? I do
Let's
pay
get that
attention
out
to
of
the
here.
NFC, but okay. All
Yeah,
right.
let's get that out of here. Wow, disappointed.
Whittle, I'm slipping in my old
But
age.
anyway, yeah, I'm slipping, bro. I'm definitely slipping.
It's
That
all
was
right, Whittle. It's okay. We're so focused on the Bills, man. It's the NFC, so it's okay.
that's true. Yeah, that's nuts, man. Wow, that's yeah. I'm surprised. I
Yep.
didn't, I didn't, I didn't catch
It's,
that.
it's all good, man. It's
All right. Well, anyway,
but we could go through some of those games quickly if you'd like. I mean, so we got Washington and Tampa. What do
yep.
you have in that matchup? That's
I would
yeah.
love to go Commanders here. I think they've had a great season.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay scares me because like the thing that Tampa Bay scares me is because like I don't necessarily trust their coverage and Terry McLaurin's a top 10 wide receiver. Like he's a top 10 wide receiver with Jaden Daniels. Wild. We were talking last year about Terry McLaurin like not even being in the top 20. He
Yeah.
is like cemented top 10, probably closer to top 5 than he is to number 10.
Hmm.
And it's because of Jaden Daniels. So the strength of the strength of the Tampa Bay defense is definitely the front, right? Their front four is usually, their their bread and butter. They haven't really like their edge guys haven't been great. So they haven't really generated they're not generating pressure like historically they usually do. And the back end hasn't been great either. Guys have been they've lost some guys back there. Um, Zion McCollum's a young guy that they have playing corner, big, tall, athletic, rangy corner. Who I like a lot. I like them coming out of the draft, but
Yep.
going up against Jane Daniels, I think it's going to be tough. But
Yep.
Todd Bowles, the head coach, he's an excellent defensive mind. These are the type of games like this is the type of game that Todd Bowles is supposed to like win. If Tampa Bay wins, it's because of the coach. It's not
Yep.
just going to be because they were able to, score points because the Commanders can score, right? Like we know
Yep.
Baker and Mike Evans and their trio of running backs that they have out there with led by Bucky Irvin and Sean Tucker and Rashad White. Like those guys are box office, right? They're like
Hmm.
those guys, like they can hand the ball off to anybody and you know, get 80 yards on the ground and another 35 in the air. So those like
Yep.
their running backs are amazing. Bucky Irvin's been a godsend this year for them. So you know you're gonna score points if you're the Buccaneers, but can you get enough stops? And this is where Todd Bowles comes in. Todd Bowles needs to uh, cook up something that's going to confuse Jaden Daniels, give his interior guys, Cansey and Vita Vea, the opportunity to get home and
Hmm.
get these guys on the ground and get their guys on the ground. The Commanders don't run the ball particularly well with their running backs. Although Chris Rodriguez, I think he's the second year guy to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Um, he's run the ball pretty hard over the last couple of weeks. They've been giving him a few more snaps. Um, he's got some juice. He's got a little bit of power. And then Jaden Daniels runs the football for them as well. So it's going to be interesting. That's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a competitive game. But if Todd Bowles is as good as advertised, the Buccaneers should win that game. Rams,
Yep.
Vikings. What do you got for
Oh,
the
oh,
Commanders?
real quick for Commanders. I'm gonna. How about wins over the Commanders? Lions took the Chiefs overtime, lost, and barely, almost beat the Ravens, beat the Eagles. That's Tampa this year. I mean, they beat some good teams, right? I mean,
Yeah,
this is a good team. They had a little bit of a tough stretch in the middle of the season. Otherwise, I think this team could have been a 12-win team, and we're talking differently of them. I like Tampa as well. I like their experience here. Washington is like a little bit like the team we're playing Sunday. I mean, Jane Data's been even better. Otherwise, Bo Nix would be offensive rookie of the year, right? Great year. I love their trajectory, but I think this is a game where I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their experience at home in this situation. Just to make quick,
yeah.
maybe by 7. Yeah,
I, the Command is a cool story, man. I just don't
yeah,
know if it's enough to get like I trust Todd Bowles, man. He's been here before, like he's been in these situations. So
yeah.
I'm gonna give Todd Bowles the edge here. Um,
Yep. Mm.
and Baker's a
Okay.
dog too, man. Like I Baker
Yeah.
gets up for games like this. He's going up against another hot shot quarterback. Baker is a
Hmm.
dog. Like I think
Oh
Baker's
yeah.
gonna
He's.
I think Baker's gonna piss on his territory and get it done.
It's
Um,
amazing how Baker Mayfield from that draft, right? I mean, listen, we know about Josh and Lamar, and now you look at Baker, and then you look at the next game we're looking at, and Sam Darnold. Look how he's turned his career around, right? From
yeah,
Minnesota against the Rams. This is a tough one for me, Whittle. For some reason I feel like I want to go with the Rams as well in this game, just them being home with the pedigree of McVay, Super Bowl winning coach. They still got some big time players on that team, can make some plays. I don't know if I trust Minnesota, but is that going to be the truest of road games? Minnesota's going to show out for this game. If they even play in Los Angeles, by the way, that's a whole other story. There's rumors they
right,
may move
right.
this game to Phoenix. I mean, they did cancel the Kings game tonight here in LA, so we don't know what's going to be happening in terms of the fires and in terms of that and travel. So that could change the dynamic of this game as well. But I'm going to go with the Rams.
That,
But
that would be crazy.
it's
You going with
crazy.
the
But yeah,
Rams?
I'm going with the Rams. But again, I feel a little bit like
Wow.
this, like Houston and with the Chargers. I'm not confident. It's a 51-49 kind of game for me. As a better, I wouldn't touch it, but I'll go with the Rams by 3. How about you, Will?
I'm going Vikings here, man. I mean,
Yeah,
the Rams had that huge 44-point output against the Bills a couple weeks ago, and I mean the offenses look terrible ever since. Their defense is the defensive line is solid.
Yeah.
Um, they're they're gonna the defensive line I'm sure will play well, but I don't think it's well enough to get home consistently. I think the Vikings are going to be able to throw the ball on them. I mean, you're dealing with Justin Jefferson, uh, and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson the type. You got Aaron Jones in the backfield. Like these guys are elite. Like these are elite level players. I mean, Aaron Jones is a little long in the tooth as a running back, but he's still a good receiver out of the backfield. Still a veteran. He can still get it done. Um, I just don't know if Stafford can tap into what he tapped into against the Bills. Like, and then Brian Flores, he's a agent of chaos with the defense, bro. He's gonna send exotic blitzes. Put he's gonna put 8, 7, 8, 9 guys on the line of scrimmage and then drop guys out into coverage in the spots where on tape you see these are the quick options for Matthew Stafford. This is where he likes to go.
Hmm.
He's gonna create chaos and try to put players in those positions to create to cause turnover. So um,
Hmm.
I like Minnesota to get past the Rams this weekend. Uh, and Eagles versus Green Bay. I just think Green Bay's too beat up. No Jair
Yeah.
Alexander, no Christian Watson now.
Yep.
You know, Philly can run the football. You know, Jalen Hurts can throw it up and make plays in the air. He's also going to run. I just think the best offensive line in football. On the defensive line, they've got some players over there. Jalen Carter comes to mind first, obviously. Brandon Graham is another guy on the edge that,
Yep.
you know, he's been there for forever, but he's still productive. Their
Yep.
linebackers have played well. And in the secondary, they got a bunch of young guys back there. Quinion
Yep.
Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, obviously, all big play Slay.
Yep.
Um, Safeties, they got CJ Gardner Johnson back there as well. Like they have a wealth of talent
Yep.
on that team. They took one of our guys, our Georgia boys, Lewis Sheen. They signed him off our practice
Yeah.
squad, so
Oh.
he'll be on their active roster for the playoffs. And I mean, they'll probably put him in safety, and it'll probably work.
Yep.
So you know, I just think I think they're going to take care of business. I think
I
they.
think this is where we agree on this. But I'll tell you what. I mean, I'm going to give you some DVOAs. Okay. Fourth DVOA in offense, passing third, rushing fourth, defensive DVOAs fifth, 10th
Mhm.
passing, sixth rushing. That's the Packers. That's a 7 seed in the NFC. Wow. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
if they were, I think the Eagles will win, right? But this is a tough draw. I mean, the Packers are no joke as a 7 seed.
Look
Excellent
at the
coach,
division. Look at the division.
right? Yeah,
You're in a
excellent.
division with
Yeah,
the Lions
mhm,
and the Vikings, like a
yeah,
15 and 14 win team. You
yeah.
know,
I agree with you. I think the Eagles will just be a little too much. But Green Bay's really only chance to me is Jacobs has to be big, and they have to force Hurts to a couple turnovers, especially late. But
I don't
it's going to be tight.
know.
But Green Bay has got
Yeah,
a
I don't
good
know if they
roster.
need
I
a
mean,
couple, bro. Like I think if they're +1, they
mhm,
have a chance because I think their
yeah,
defense, their front six is really fast. Like they're fast,
yes,
they're strong. It's a lot of first round talent
yep,
um, on that Green Bay defense.
yep,
Um, so I think it's the same story with the Ravens. Like if you can stop Saquon from efficiently and effectively running the football.
hmm,
If you can do that, you force Jalen Hurts to win the game from the pocket, and that's where you can now this is where you can take a shot because if we're just talking throwing the football only, I think Jordan Love's high or his best game is better than Jalen Hurts' best game as a passer. I think if we
As a
get to
pure
something like
passer, yeah,
that,
Hurts is about the whole package. But I understand what you're
right,
saying. Yeah, yeah, for
right.
sure. I
And
get you. But I'm going to
Hurts
go
doesn't
Philly
make
at
a
home
lot of
too.
mistakes. I agree.
No, yeah. But this is going to be a good game, though. I mean, this has a chance to be a really good game. But I think Philly gets the win. Yeah, maybe by 7-10. Another one of those games where maybe it's close, but maybe Philly tacks something on late just to give them a little cushion. But they did play week 1 in Brazil, but again, week 1, yeah, it's ages ago. So just don't tell Ravens fans that because they're still talking about week 5.
Oh
So
God,
week
week
4.
4.
Week 4.
They hung
Yeah.
a banner for week 4. Good Lord,
Yeah.
man. Like
Oh, yes, they
the
did.
week 4 win for the Ravens over the Bills, it's like
Yeah.
that might as well have been the only game we ever played. Because
Yep.
they don't want to talk about anything else. 35 to
Yep.
10, 35 to 10,
Yep.
35 to 10.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. All
Now,
right.
now we get to the main event, right?
Our game,
For us
yeah.
Bills fans. Denver 11-6, first time they made the playoffs in 8 years. You got something that hit me a little bit too. I was like, wow, Denver hasn't made the playoffs in 8 years. I mean, because they were such a power for so long, right? You forget that they've had some lean years here for a
Yeah.
bit. So they come to Orchard Park to play the 13-4 Bills. Bills are undefeated at home. Got the best home record this decade of any team in the NFL. DVOA rankings, Whittle, just to give you a little something to chew on. Denver is excellent on the defensive side of the ball. They're fourth, fifth against
Right.
the pass, and second against the
Hmm.
run. So this is going to be a challenging matchup for Joe Brady in the offense. Offense, they're ranked 18th, 20th passing, and 22nd running. Nothing spectacular. So just to kind of set you up on that and who we're dealing with, Denver's had. I mean, obviously we know about Bo Nix, and Cortland Sutton's a very underrated receiver. He's had a renaissance this year. I think he's kind of shown what he could do. Denver's got a very, and you could probably speak a little bit more about their defense. Very underrated. Maybe a lot of players, a lot of casual fans and normal fans don't know about. Denver hasn't been a team that's been really highlighted over the last several years. So, but they've been building a really nice roster. They don't run the particular ball particularly that well. So, as far as predictions go, would you like me to go first, and then we'll go from there,
I just want to let me just.
or if you want to set the game up first? How would you like
Mm,
to go about it?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm looking at this, looking at the. Ah, do you want to do? We doing production? I mean, predictions already. I don't want to do predictions. Yeah,
Okay, well,
I don't
yeah,
want to do
we've been
predictions.
rolling for 52 minutes already, so but we can wait a few more minutes. We can go into the game a little bit. So, I just wanted to set you up
Yeah,
with their DVOAs and some stuff that we're looking at in terms of the
yeah.
Denver side of the ball.
No, don't get me wrong. So a lot of obviously, what you said. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Like they're a good team. And, I mean, they look good. They are extremely tough defensively. They got speed. They do a lot of they do a lot of things that you would like. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
that you would like from a young team. They get after the passer. They have a lockdown corner. They challenge you. They're physical up front. I mean, they're physical at the line with their secondary guys. Um, and then on the offense, they really keep it simple. They're gonna hit you with some screens. They're going to try and give their quarterback, who's a rookie, Bo Nix out of Oregon, by way of Auburn. Um, they're going to give you some looks where they're going to try to give their quarterback some easy looks. Um, they're going to flood. They're going to flood certain areas and try to give him something underneath, let him hit that, and have guys get yards after the catch. But occasionally, what they will do is they will dial up shot plays. They will dial up deep posts for Mims. They will dial up. They're going to dial up. Uh, they're going to dial up. I said deep post to Mims. They're going to dial
yeah,
up deep streak plays to Troy Franklin. They're gonna run reverses. They're gonna do things like that. And you just got to be ready for it. They don't really have a tell on offense because they kind of use the same personnel quite
Yep.
often. They switch their running backs out between Javante Williams and McLaughlin. They'll switch those guys out, but outside of that, man, I mean, it's pretty much the same receivers. You're going to see Cortland Sutton. You're going to see number 17, Veely. You're going to see 19, Marvin Mims. Those are usually the receivers you're going to see. Time to time, they'll take the tight end now, 82. Um, what's his name? Jesus, I'm forgetting the kid's name now.
Oh, the other.
I'm gonna pull it up. Tight end. I'm pulling it up.
Oh, Troutman.
Yes,
Troutman, the tight
Troutman.
end.
Troutman.
Yeah.
They'll pull Troutman off the field and they'll bring in Troy Franklin. I mean, it's Troy Franklin doesn't play as much as I thought he would, but Troy Franklin's there. You know how we thought the world of that kid coming
Oh
out, but
yes. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, there were a few of us in our spaces, particularly some more than others, that did love Troy Franklin that we know. But listen, I
right.
wouldn't have been against Troy Franklin totally either. So
But so for offensive line, good. It's good. The offensive line is good. Ben Powers and Quinn Miners are the guards. Luke Wattenberg, center. Is this the kid from Kentucky? I think he's the kid from no Washington. Okay, my bad. I thought no. I'm thinking. Okay, I remember. I'm thinking about somebody else. Um, get back to it real quick. All right. So yeah, those guys are good. Mike McGlinchey at right tackle and Garrett Williams, I think, is left. Yeah, Garrett Williams at left. They have played well. I will give them credit. They have played well. One thing I will say about the offensive line is it's a more powerful unit than it is an athletic unit, which I think kind of plays into what we want to do as the Buffalo Bills, like what our defensive line is pretty good at. Like I think we have really good athletes that can kind of use quick twitch, some speed, some athleticism to win in this game. Now they've got a group of running backs who I think complement each other pretty well.
hmm
The numbers don't say that, but it is. I get the makeup of the group. Audric Estime, rookie out of Notre Dame. The kid is built like a pro wrestler. He's a monster. Like yeah, he's a monster. McLaughlin's the other running back. He's more of a scat back type. And then Javante Williams is a do it all. Is a do it all back. Um, I think Javante went to North Carolina as well.
yes.
And then
Yep.
on the defensive side, DJ Jones, who came over from San Francisco, John Franklin Myers, we know him very well, came over from the Jets. They've got Malcolm Roach, who is their backup nose tackle, free agent from New Orleans. These are the guys that you're going to see mostly. Zach Allen, star standout defensive tackle, 99. He's having a really, really good year. I think he's got like 8 or 9 sacks or something crazy like that. They came over from Arizona. And then
Uh huh.
on the edge of their pass rushers, you have Nick Benito. Um, what was the school Nick Benito came from? I can't remember. I'll look out. I'll look it up. But Nick
Who was that
Benito, I
again?
think he's in
Nick
his
Benito. Yep.
yeah. What school?
Benito.
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
I feel like it was Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, Nick Benito and Jonathan Cooper. Young. Those guys are young. They are. very fast. They get after the quarterback. Nick Benito is up for, like, he should be in the talk for defensive player of the year. He's disruptive. They drop
Yep.
him in coverage at times. Um, he's a pain in the neck. He really is. Cody Barton is on the inside. Came over from Washington. Drew Sanders is back, so I believe he's the starter. I think he's going to start over Justin Strad. Um, and then Zach Cunningham's hurt. He's really, really, really good.
Yep.
So him not being there is a good thing for us. And then the
Yes,
secondary,
it is.
we know Brandon Jones. He was came over from Miami. Uh, Patrick Surtain, probably the best corner in football. I mean, if he's not, he's the second. There's not much argument there from anybody. Riley
Hmm.
Moss, one of my draft crushes out of
Oh
Iowa,
yeah,
cornerback.
I remember.
And yeah, PJ Locke, safety. I think he came over from San Fran. And yeah, that's the defense. Um, this defense can be run on. I watched them play. I watched the game against the Colts. I watched that a couple of times. When I tell you Jonathan Taylor had his way, he was very patient,
Hmm.
and when there was a lane to get through, he exploded through it. And that reminds me a lot of James Cook, because James Cook is a very patient runner. And
Hmm.
when you give him an inch, he's going to find his way through, and he's going to take a mile. So
Yep.
I like that, Matt. I like our ability to run the football this game. They lead the NFL in sacks, but the Bills have given up the least amount of sacks in the league. So something's got to give. I'm going to err on the side. Obviously, as a Bills fan, I think it's going to be us not giving up sacks and them just kind of getting stonewalled. But there's reason. There's more than just blind fandom behind this. Jonathan Cooper
Hmm.
and Nick Benito. Those are smaller guys. They're going to be pass rushing against Dawson Knox, uh, Alec Anderson when he's in the game, Deion Dawkins,
Yep.
Spencer Brown, Dawson Knox, elite level athlete, excellent pass blocker, excellent blocker. Period. Remember when we were using him to chip and help out Spencer Brown when Spencer Brown was struggling a couple
Yep.
years ago? Dawson Knox, excellent blocker, veteran, knows what he's doing. Alec Anderson, all manners of nasty. He just doesn't care about people. He's gonna attack you. Elite level athlete in Spencer Brown.
Hmm.
Deion Dawkins is one of the best left tackles in football. He is also an elite level athlete. He's got like an A+ on his RAS score. So I mean, and Deion's been here forever. Him and Josh have that chemistry. They know what to do. Um, Highlight play from the Jets game when Michael Clemens was locked up with Deion Dawkins. Deion gives him a shove and disengages. The moment he disengages, Josh Allen slides in between those two guys,
Hmm.
sprints out to the left, throws a bullet, right between the numbers to Dawson Knox in the pylon, the front pylon corner of the end zone, touchdown. Like, bro, I look at the numbers for the defense for this Broncos team, and I say
Hmm.
the Broncos. People will say, "Wow, the Broncos are coming in here, man, they're really really hot," and I agree with you, I do. But then I look at who the Denver Broncos have played over the last few weeks.
Hmm.
Let me pull up their schedule real quick. Don't be nervous, Q. Don't be nervous. I
Yeah,
don't
we're
think we
okay,
need to
Q.
be
We
nervous
got
this
you. We
game.
got you for this game. We got you.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be nervous this game. So let's go. I'll go. We'll just go with the last 6 weeks. Let's go with the last 6 weeks. There you go, Cav. Yeah, there he is. There he
Oh,
is.
there's
So,
Kev.
all
Good
right,
to see you, Kev.
week 10, they lose to the Chiefs, right? That was a great game. It was close. Chiefs blocked the field goal, whatever. They get out of it. They play the
Mhm.
Falcons with Kirk Cousins. Beat the Falcons 38-6. Falcons were a mess. They're not in the
Yeah.
playoffs. Following the following game, they play the Raiders. The Raiders. The Raiders are
Mhm.
picking what, like fourth, something like that,
Yeah.
fourth or fifth.
Yeah.
They're picking
Sixth.
in the
Yeah.
top 10. Yeah, they're
Sixth.
picking in the top 10. They beat them 29-19. 41-32 after that with the Browns. Then they played that game against the Colts after that. I was like 2 weeks later. Bro, they should have lost to the Colts. Like, the Colts really screwed that game over.
Well, they had that worst play call in like the league's history. Remember that one play,
Yeah.
the flea flicker? Oh my goodness.
They fell apart. A flea flicker pick six, man. And
Yeah.
then in the same game, Jonathan Taylor busts a huge run for a touchdown, drops the ball before he crosses the goal line.
Yep.
Ball goes out of bounds through the end zone, touchback, Denver's ball. Nuts. 14 points right there. 14 points. Um, then they lose to the Chargers on Thursday Night Football, where like the Chargers really don't have a ton of offense, but managed to put up 34 points. Why? Well, Bo Nix turned. I, let me not. Let me. I don't want to be. I believe Bo Nix turned the football over this. Let me make sure. No, he didn't. My apologies. But they couldn't run the football at all.
Yeah.
They really couldn't generate really any offense. They hit. I know they hit Mims for like a big play, but like the defense, like the Chargers defense just kind of stifled them in the second half. They had a great first half. Um, but the second half, man, like the Chargers defense picked up and yeah, Herbert went Superman. Yeah, he did. Like Herbert was hitting throws, and even listen, even Quentin Johnson was making catches that game. So, and he doesn't catch
Oh
anybody,
man,
not
yeah.
even
You
cold.
know.
He's he's always available. No, but yeah. So you lose to the Chargers. Then they play the Bengals. They go to overtime and they lose. And the Bengals haven't stopped anybody, but you couldn't stop them either. And you gave a bunch of big plays. Like, I mean, you gave
Yeah.
a bunch of big plays. You got a couple of big plays, but at the end of the day, like you couldn't get stops. And when they needed Bo Nix in overtime to generate offense, he couldn't. They punted twice in overtime and they lost. And they deserved to lose that game.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
so then they played the Broncos. I mean, they played the Chiefs. Oh yeah. Riley Moss was barbecue chicken. Riley Moss got abused that game. It was hard to
Yeah,
watch
I did.
because
Oh
I
yeah.
had talked that man up for forever, and it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch.
Yeah. It
Then they
happens.
beat the Chiefs second string guys 38-0. And
Yeah.
you look at the talent that they played against, man. I mean, you beat up on the Falcons, the Raiders, the Browns, and the Colts, who like these guys are not in the playoffs. You look good against bad teams, and now all of a sudden, you got guys like Denver Sports Talk talking about let's compare Josh Allen and Bo Nix, and Bo Nix has had a better season. It was like
I was just shaking my
just
head.
silly stuff like this. Like Rex Ryan is saying that they don't have any depth at all.
Yep.
Like on the defensive side, outside of that defensive line, nothing, nothing.
Yeah. They don't.
You're right, nothing.
They don't. They
Um,
can't rotate depth like we can on the defensive line. That is for sure.
Spags was comparing Knicks to Allen. Yeah, this is egregious, and this is like a lack of respect too. Like Bo
Yeah.
Nix has had a nice year, guys. He really has.
Yeah.
He's not like comparing him to Josh Allen is crazy. We got this Denver sports talk character who was on with our good buddy Dan Mitchell talking about like if you look at Josh Allen's numbers and Bo Nix's numbers, you can make the argument that Bo Nix has been better. And no, no, he hasn't.
You know
No,
who's more a bit like Allen than Bo Nix? The guy we played last week, Joe Milton.
Joe Milton.
Joe
Joe,
Milton
oh
gives me
my God,
some Josh vibes, doesn't he? I mean, does he not? I mean,
bro.
I know we talked about that game, but that I would
Did you
say
see
that's
the
more
play?
the
Wait,
which
did
one?
you see the play? When Milton was in the pocket and he was getting ready to throw the football and like right and Javon Solomon's like bearing down on him. So he throws the football. Solomon hits him in his like squares up and hits him. And Milton just kind of shrugged him off and just like looked at him like, what are you doing? Bro. Milton's a big dude. 6'5", 225, 230. He's a big dude, bro. Big dude. Yeah,
Yep.
Drake May's gonna be a problem. He's gonna be a little bit of an
Yeah,
issue
New England's going to be a
for
problem
sure.
in a couple of years if they play this thing right. If they're in a great position, kind of like we were back in 2018. So
Boy, it was killing us, man. Kayshawn Booty and Butte and Pop Douglas were killing us, bro.
yep, yep,
Yo, Drake
yeah.
May and Milton used those guys to cook. I mean, they were cooking us, bro. Cooking us.
Yes, they were. But
Oof.
we'll worry about New England next year. We're not worried about them right
Yeah,
now.
they're home. They're home too with the Bengals. But like I look at the Broncos and I look at the teams that they played. I watch the games. I shall see it. And what
Yeah,
people will point to is the defensive numbers for the Buffalo Bills over the last month and a half or whatever. And shout out to Kev, shout out to Kevin Masiri, shout out to you, Kev, because you confirmed this. I asked you about it earlier today. And I'm like, bro, like the numbers look bad, but I think the numbers are only bad because of the last like 4 or 5 games. And Kev was like, yeah, the numbers are bad because of the last 4 or 5 games because the Bills, were missing a bunch of guys on in the secondary. They're missing a bunch of guys on defense, and they're prioritizing being healthy. And we're going into the playoffs extremely healthy, but ultimately, I think the Bills beat the Broncos because the Broncos can be run on. I think the Bills will take the run away immediately and force this game into Bo Nix's hands. We've seen the Bills do that all week before the Lions game. What did we hear about Sonic and Knuckles, Jameer Gibbs, and oh my God, these guys can run the football so well, and if they get the running on Buffalo when that play action and Buffalo's gonna be finished. And
hmm
they could not run the football on us. I think they ran the ball for like 30 something yards. We bottled it
yep.
up, man. Because
And you know
Buffalo
what'll
when they want to
you know
do it, they take it away.
you know what I say about that game too, which I still say today. Okay, Detroit scored 42 points. Jared Goff threw for almost 498 yards. He threw 50. What do you feel? 59 times. You
Yeah.
divide that by two and tell me if 25 attempts for 250 yards is an amazing game. Tell me it's not. Like, okay, he had 500 yards. He threw almost 60 times. You better throw for that many yards if you're throwing 60 times. I think the Bills
Right.
defense played fine that game. I know people, outside casuals will be like, well, they didn't. They gave up 42 points. Well, you're not really seeing the whole picture. And that's why I don't take too much from that game in terms of the
Yeah.
42 points given up.
Me neither. And we're going into and this is the first year, probably in like forever, that the Bills are going into the postseason extremely healthy, right? So
Yes.
what we got going on with the health, right? We have um we got all our guys. Like we're gonna have all our guys out there, and when you have all your guys out there, the communication's at an all-time high. Everybody knows where they need to be. They know how to talk to each other. They've been doing this. Now you're going to see Bobby Babbage and Sean McDermott really dial up some exotic stuff. You're going to see 7 guys at the line of scrimmage with 4 guys back, and then you're going to see 3 of those guys on the line of scrimmage drop out and fall into zones in coverage, and then there'll be a corner blitz from the boundary that Bo Nix is not paying attention to. Or credit to, I'm going to take a term from Dan Mitchell here. Dan Mitchell said that Sean McDermott, as a defensive coordinator, is a master baiter. And that sounds crazy. I know. Put a pause on that, right?
Pause. Yeah, pause.
He is a master at baiting quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks, into thinking something's there when it's not. So there are going to be situations where Bo Nix is going to drop back as a right-handed quarterback, and he's going to see pressure coming from the right side, which is going to trigger him to say, okay, what's my easy option on this side where the pressure's coming from? Maybe I can check it down really quickly. But the Bills are going to do something like take a lineman and put him in a hard flat to take that away, right? And we already talked about the offensive line for the Denver Broncos being big, strong, powerful, not necessarily athletic, right? So if you're a left tackle or right tackle, if you're a right tackle, you're setting up to block Gregory Rousseau. And when the ball is snapped, you get back into your pass stance, and Rousseau gets ready to engage you and then drops out and slides to his left. Well, now you're like, all right, well, who I got to go after? But you missing Taylor Rapp and Terrell Bernard that are coming on your left side. You didn't see those guys. They just already blew by you. And they got a beeline, right? So now you got Estime or Williams or McLaughlin back there to block 2 people. Bo's got to get rid of this football. Bo Nix does not throw the football away. I watched all of his sacks this year. I watched all of them. There are, I would say, out of his 24 sacks, I'd say 5 to 6 of them are where he just held the football, tried to escape, and ran out of bounds. Did not throw it away. So there are going to be options to where Bo is not going to be able to escape. He does not want to turn the football over. He is going to take a sack. The Bills are going to get to him. They're going to get him down. They're also going to punch at the football because he's a young quarterback. They're going to try to get some strips. Another thing, shout out to Cover One. Going to give them their credit. Eric from Cover One put out a video that showed defensive stunts, 3-man stunts that defensive lines ran against this Denver offensive line, and they were very effective. You know, one thing we complained about earlier this year about the Bills not doing on defense, running stunts. The Bills are going to run stunts this weekend. They're going to be effective because we have athletic guys on this line. Rousseau's athletic. Epinesa is athletic. Ed Oliver's uber athletic. Von Miller's athletic. Jordan Phillips, for whatever reason, becomes the best version of himself. And he's athletic, a.k.a. Big Phil. Big Phil gets the Buffalo, and he is a dog. I don't know why, but he is the best player. Like
something in the water up there.
You know how you play yeah, you play like video games, right? And then you play well with a guy, and there's like a ratings boost.
Yes.
Big Phil gets a ratings boost in a Buffalo uniform for whatever reason. It's like
a +5
+3 in pass rush, +5 in strength. Yeah, he's a dog when he's in Buffalo. So they're going to be able to get to him. On the back end, DeMar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp, very sound in coverage. They don't make a ton of mistakes. Milano in coverage doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Bernard doesn't make a ton of mistakes. I mean, these guys are excellent in coverage. Like they are going to make it hell for Bo Nix to try to get the football out. Rasul Douglas always looking to pounce on an errant football. And then
Mhm.
Christian Benford on the other side. Like I think we get two turnovers out of Bo Nix, man. I think we get two.
Mhm.
Um, and then on the
Yeah,
other
and I
side, defensively,
yep,
uh, they they have Patrick Surtain, who's box office top one of the top corners in the league, either one or two, easy. Riley Moss, who's despite him being abused multiple times this year, he's very good. Like he's a very good corner. Um,
yes,
but the linebackers do not cover well. So I think this is a
no,
big tight end, Dalton Kincaid. This is a big Dalton Kincaid game. This is a big James Cook, big Ray Davis, big Ty Johnson game, big Khalil Shakir game. Um, and if they want to if they want to get big and try to take the run away, that's when we put some big people on the field and we let Dawson Knox get behind those safeties and
yep,
make big plays. Brandon
yep.
Jones is accustomed to that. He knows what that's about. He was in Miami a few years ago. But
Will, I think
yeah,
this also leads to what Tiffany said earlier about do our backs get more involved? I say we'd answer yes to that. Just wanted to
yes,
put that out there. I think this is that kind of game based on what you said about their linebackers not being able to cover as well. That
they
I do agree that will be a focal point of Joe Brady this
they're
weekend.
they're at the bottom of the league in receptions allowed to running backs and receiving yards allowed to running backs. So um,
Mm-hmm.
you guys have seen what our running backs have done in the passing game. I mean, who wants to deal with James Cook, Ty Johnson, and Ray Davis when they're out the backfield as receivers? Like they Denver has a lot to account for, and I don't know that they have the personnel to do it. So great season by them. I expect this to be a baseball cap, Josh. 6 minute mark
Ooh,
of the
call it
fourth
for the
quarter. Yeah,
ball cap,
no,
Josh.
I'm
Okay,
sorry, man.
I hope you're
Listen,
right.
apologies to the Denver Bronco fans and to those who decided to put their money where their mouth was against the Buffalo Bills this weekend. I will
Yeah.
be collecting. So
Yep. All
yeah,
right. Listen, Christmas comes a little later for Whittle this week in the wallet. And listen, I'm going to agree. I'm not sure about ball cap Josh, but I always try to think of different scenarios. I mean, let's go back a couple of years ago. We had Ken Dorsey running our offense. We could see scenarios where Josh turns the ball over a few times and some things break down, right? We saw it against Miami. We almost lost that game, right? Again, albeit against a Skylar Thompson, right?
hmm
Do you really envision the way the Bills are playing offense this year against even against some of the best teams? I don't envision us as an offense having a breakdown where we turn the ball over three times or something like that. Maybe there's that one Josh pick, Surtain or something like that happens, but I just don't see how we don't cause a couple turnovers for Bo Nixon. He may get his 250. He's going to have some moments. Sean Payton's an excellent coach. He's won a Super Bowl. He's going to scheme up some good plays. They're going to make some plays, but I just cannot envision where we just completely at home. We're 8-0 in the playoffs. The way this season is gone, I'm sorry, it's not ending this week, Denver. You've had a good year. You should be proud, like we were in 2017 when we made the playoffs, right? And Tyrod Taylor got us out of the drought, and we started
we
to see
was
some life
we
in
was
this
just happy to be
organization.
there, bro. We was just happy to
That's how
be there.
Denver fans should feel Monday. I'm telling you, I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not disrespecting your franchise because I love the things you're doing. And I think we're going to hear from you again in the playoffs in 25, 26. You're going to be there. But this is your dip in the toes water moment. I think Buffalo gets this done. I think they get it done 34-20. And it's a game that we control. And like I said, Denver will have their moments, maybe a little bit early, but I'm not really sure if a casual Denver fan who's talking so confident realizes what they're going to see in Orchard Park come Sunday at 1:00.
And hostile environment, bro.
Yeah.
Playoff football is way different, and it's not just playoff football; it's playoff football in Buffalo. Yeah, man, talk about it, man. Josh is
Yep.
go look like this. Is what I tell people when people say stuff to like, "Oh, Lamar Jackson stats, they're so crazy." Oh my God, Josh Allen's stats are nowhere near Lamar. Well, honestly, they really are. If you take into account the snap counts, if you look at the games, you'll see like Josh really be out there, handing the football off a lot. But when he does not hand the football off, the man is making big plays. Like if Josh played 70, 80 more snaps than what he's playing right now, which would put him a little closer to where Lamar Jackson's snap count is. If you give Josh Allen 80 more snaps, I would say out of that 80, probably 50 of them are passing attempts, 55 to 50 are passing attempts. He's probably going to
Mhm.
complete about 30 of those attempts. And those 30 attempts are probably going to be around 300 yards. So, I mean, the numbers would bear out. But,
Mhm.
yeah, you're right, bro. You're right.
And
Yeah.
here's something that Josh Allen haters will never acknowledge, ladies and gentlemen. And
Bro,
this
it's the truth.
is
It's the
it's the
truth.
truth. Yep.
And I don't want to
Absolutely
hear
the truth.
that Josh Allen is a wild card merchant. I mean, if you look at his numbers in the divisional round, they're amazing as well. Like it's just come on, guys. I like no
Yeah.
disrespect to the Broncos or the Broncos fans. You've had a great year, guys. It unfortunately is gonna come to an end Sunday
Hmm.
at one
Yep.
o'clock. Like I think the Bills are gonna I think they're gonna hang tough for the first half, but the Bills are a second half team and the second half, I think the floodgates open up. We stretch this lead out, and 6 minutes left. Mr. Trubisky's taking snaps, handing off to Ray
That ball
Davis.
kept on.
We're getting ready to see the winner of the Saturday night game between
Yep.
the Ravens and the Steelers. Oh
Yep.
yeah, Von Miller's definitely going to get a sack. But I mean,
Yep.
that's it, man. That's all I got, man. I mean, we got
Yeah.
some media folks. Adam Rank says that Denver's going to beat us. You got
Okay.
Chris Broussard saying that he's not so sure that this is a great matchup for Buffalo. He sees a scenario where the Broncos can win this game. Um, we've talked about the Denver sports talk guy, whatever. I mean, Chief
Yeah.
fans are
I
out
mean,
there talking about the Broncos really pose a threat, and they do. They're a good team. They wouldn't be in the playoffs if
yeah,
they weren't, but
that's right.
this is
Yep.
Buffalo. This is different. Like,
Yeah. I mean, there's
y'all,
always a scenario, Whittle, but I think the odds of just the way we've looked all season, the way we're taking care of the ball, the way we're
yeah.
doing things, are lower than they have been, let's say, in 2022 under Dorsey or in 2023. I don't think the casuals truly understand that. They're still, again, that's no disrespect to Denver. Again, love what they're doing, but they're not ready for this level yet.
Like,
They
come
need
on,
a little
Chiefers,
improvement.
man. Y'all know how we give it up in Buffalo, so stop acting funny, man. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what
Yeah,
time it is with
yeah.
us.
They're
Come
afraid of
on.
us. It's just that simple. But we'll get to that next week. And little, that's all I had as
Yep.
well as we wrap up our first show of 2025.
Yeah,
And
we appreciate
hopefully,
y'all coming back after we missed
yes,
we on a mini vacay. We're just on a mini vacay.
yep, little mini
Reset and
vacation.
recharge.
And we have Wednesdays, all the big, the holidays fell on Christmas and New Year's this year. So it's just the way it worked out. But we're back and better than ever. We want to say thank you to everyone in the group chat. The group chat was great today. We love it. We thank you. We couldn't do this without all of you. And we love your comments. We love your feedback. That's what we want. This show is about all of us. It's not just myself babbling here or Whittle giving awesome takes. It's all of you. All of you make it possible. So we really appreciate it.
So shout out to everybody from YouTube that's watching, uh, Facebook, X. I hate calling it X. Like it's Twitter, man.
It's
So
Twitter. I know the X. Oh, I can't. I know it's so weird, so generic. So
Give it a quick McDermott clap.
Yeah.
No, let's get out of here, man. Shout out to
Hey,
everybody.
let's
Peace.
go Bills, and let's hopefully see a game against who would be Baltimore or who next week. We
It's either
potentially get
Baltimore. It's either Baltimore or well, we'll play the provided we beat the Broncos, we would host the highest seed, the higher seed that's left
yeah.
from the wild card game. So
Okay, could be the Texans. Oh, it could be the Texans. Could you imagine? That would be thank you for that, Johnny. So it could be the Texans or it could be the Ravens. Likely the Ravens, but could also be the Texans. So we'll see how that all shakes out.
if Pittsburgh
Ooh,
wins,
Johnny
we
Pullen calling the upset. All right, I like it.
all right. I hope I'm pulling for Pittsburgh. I am pulling for
Oh,
Pittsburgh.
without question.
Not because I don't want to play the Ravens, but like if Lamar goes out in the first round, if Lamar goes out in the wild card and Josh is still playing, wait,
This app
that's
is
not
going to
gonna be
be
good.
the
Yeah.
X Twitter app. Whatever we can name it whatever we want on Monday morning after that. So
I'm telling
that's
you,
for sure.
I'm Clayton Bigsby for 3 days. I'm Clayton Bigsby for 3 days. Guaranteed.
Just make sure you follow Whittle. If Baltimore loses Saturday night, make sure you all follow and
Tune
myself
in.
because we're going to
Tune
be on
in.
a rampage. Yes,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yep. Okay.
All right,
Well,
Beyond. We out of here,
doesn't look
man.
like one last thing. Doesn't look like the weather's going to be a huge factor this weekend. I know that's something we forget to sometimes think about, especially this time of year. So
It's
hopefully
gonna be
that
cold.
continues. It'll be
It's gonna
cold.
be cold.
Yeah.
It's
Josh Allen
probably
doesn't
gonna be a
mind the
little
cold.
wind too.
It's
Yeah.
okay. That's all right. We'll be ready for it. So, Whittle, I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the game. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support and your comments. Keep them coming. Shout out to Kevin Massari out there. It's good to see you as always, brother, and good to see
Shout
everyone
out to
else as
all the
well. I'm
Bills
in.
content
Yeah.
creators.
Yep. Yeah. Always a great
Shout out
job
to
all
all of
year.
y'all.
We really enjoy all your work, and we look forward to more continued great work as we go into 2025. Whittle.
Yeah, hopefully Kevin will come on the show one day.
Yeah, maybe that's something in the off season we can put on the table. We're putting it right out there for you, Kev. So
Oh,
we'll talk about it for sure.
before we go, Beyond, I've been doing some draft work.
All right, listen, folks. When the season ends,
Been
and let's
doing
hope
some
our
draft
season
work.
doesn't end till late February, we got to be here for the draft. That's what Whittle does. He always does great work, but that's when it get. You think the off season gets him slowing down? No, it increases at that point. So
I
you're in
enjoy
for
the
some
draft
great
process.
stuff coming up.
I
Oh,
enjoy the off
absolutely.
season, the draft process, and all of that. Man, I enjoy it a lot. But
Yep.
again, guys, thank you so much for
Thank
continuing to
you.
support us. We are gonna tap out of here and
Yep.
enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Go
Let's
Bills.
go, Bills. Have a good night.